I got distracted. It happens. Usually not to me. I'm usually very focused, but in this case, I got distracted off of that Mustang over there. I'm building an engine for it, still doing that. But there's been a lot going on around the house, working on the house next door and working on other projects that we have going on here. And so I've used that as an excuse to not work on the Mustang. I need to just get back to it, but in the meantime, I did acquire another vehicle, and that's what this video is about. Those of you who are familiar with Toyotas, you'll recognize this as a Tacoma, an early Tacoma, Generation 1. They started making them in 1996, I believe, and this is a 98 with a 2.7 liter 4-cylinder engine and 5-speed manual transmission and 4-wheel drive flavor. I had a T100, a 96 T100 with a 3.4 liter V6 with a 5-speed, and I used it a lot. I had it for about 4 years, and I got good use out of it. I really enjoyed that truck. When I got rid of it, I had a plan. The logical side of me said, you know what? Why keep paying insurance and registration on 2 vehicles when what I could do is just go buy a trailer, a utility trailer, put a hitch on the Element, and then do all my hauling with just a utility trailer. Well, that was a great idea, and it worked very well. I've been able to use that trailer a lot, and I'm not sad about that. I'm fine with it. But my friend Daniel had this truck at his house. He sent me a picture of it. He gave me a price that was very, very reasonable, and I immediately decided, well, I'll get down there and drive it. And he told me, well, I've got it sold. So I let that go, and then a week later he told me he still had it. So I went down there. I figured there'd be something wrong with it, well, there really isn't anything wrong with it, other than it's probably been owned by somebody that was not that mature, probably. It's got this window tint all over in a very dark shade. Stereo in it that's kind of a old school double din with a flashy display. I think the biggest thing that it needs is a catalytic converter. It had the previous one removed, probably a performance enhancement that somebody did, but it's still got the O2 sensors on either side of where the cat used to be. I have no check engine lights. It's kind of interesting, just talk about Toyota reliability. I mean, this thing's got 237,000 miles on it, and the transmission ships like a new transmission. The only thing I've done to it is I did adjust the clutch free play, because it was when I first drove it, I was kind of having trouble getting it into gear, and it was because the carpet was bunched up underneath it. And so I pulled the carpet out and got it into gear. But then as I kind of checked it out, I realized that, yeah, it didn't have enough free play. So I made that adjustment, and we'll get out and take a look at it and talk about it. Very simple gauge cluster, 110 mile per hour top speed showing on the indicator. I'm pretty sure it won't do that. Temperature, cooling, it's got some fuel in it. AC works. Some of these buttons are kind of worn out, but for the mileage, you could see like that just needs a little bit of a clean. And that is just kind of torn up right there, and it needs a little bit of a clean. So I don't know if you could see that or not. As we kind of walk around, it has a little bit of an exhaust leak from the repairs that somebody did after they took care of that. But the first thing and the biggest thing you'll notice that this thing is rhino lined white. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. is when people put Rhino lining all over everything as a way to do the, I mean, it's got to be like the cheapest paint job you can possibly do. And this was actually done by my friend, who it had different color panels, and it's got a little bit of body damage, and it had a little bit of rust. It's a Virginia truck, but the underside is clean, but there was a little bit of rust right there. Let's pop the hood and look at the engine. The good thing is it's got newer tires on it in great shape, 31 1050 15s. And for the most part it's undisturbed here, except for the cold air intake, which is really not cold air, but I smell a little coolant, but I'm not losing a lot of coolant, so I don't know if maybe the cap might be something that I need to replace, or I'll have to just see if I can find the leak, if it has a leak. I drove it home, probably about 100 miles, and it ran fine. It drove good. It was a little bit skittish on the freeway, and these tires were running about 45 psi, so I've dropped those since to 32, and it seems to be much better. Yeah, so this is my new truck, and I plan to keep it. I plan to sell it anytime soon. I think I'm gonna put it to use and drive it as is, except for kind of a few key modifications. I do have the grill, but it's got some broken pins, and so I'll probably locate another one, or they sell them on Amazon, but I'll see what I can do there. But yeah, this so this engine is the 2.7 liter. I think it's like a 3RJ or 3RZ engine, and it is an evolution of the 2.4, and then it was a new generation that they started after they were making the 22REs and the 22Rs. I'm working my way backwards. 20R, 18R. You know, they Toyota, when they first came to the U.S., I think they came in 1958, and it took a while to start to study the habits of American buyers and start to provide what people needed. And when they started with trucks, I think it was early on, but it wasn't until the 70s. I remember riding in my first Toyota truck, and it was like a lime green truck, and it would go 70 miles per hour on the highway, and it was pretty amazing little truck. And these have not lost any of that feeling. I know that today's trucks, I mean, this is a 98, so it's already 27 years old, but I haven't ridden in the new ones a lot. I know they're much bigger, much heavier, but this one still probably weighs in at around 3,000 pounds, maybe a little more with the four-wheel drive. But it's it's still a fairly lightweight truck, and it feels like a lightweight truck. I guess the difference between something like the Ford's over there somewhere, but something like the Ford and this is that I think Toyota hit the mark with providing people with something that was efficient, that was fun to drive, that got great fuel mileage, and that you could haul something in and you could just drive it daily, and it was not a liability or a big sacrifice to drive. So that's the ones that the Toyotas that I've owned have been dead reliable. I have never had a lot of problems with them. I think on the T100 that I had, the worst thing that ever happened was that I would blow fuses. I would blow the dash lights when I put it in reverse, and I figured out the reverse light switch was grounding out and popping a fuse. It took me just a little bit to do that, but it was easy to fix and easy to change. And then I think these things are known for door handles being weak. In this case, we're in pretty good shape. I got the owner's manual and a bunch of other stuff with this. What else can I say about it? It's got a sliding rear window, and all this tint I think is gonna go. The air conditioner is adequate. I think it could probably use a little more Freon, but it works just fine. One thing that's kind of interesting is that, and it talks to Toyota reliability, I have a local U-Pull-It yard where I'll go get stuff sometimes, and I looked up to see if they had any Tacomas there. Not a single Tacoma in that yard, and yet there's 25 Volkswagen Jettas. There's a ton of Ford Rangers. There's a ton of other vehicles there, but there's no Tacomas there. And so I know that I'm not sure, they may even still be making Tacomas. I don't know. I haven't opened this. You painted right over this. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so I think it speaks to the reliability of these things, that a lot of them are still on the road, and when they do take them off the road for whatever reason, they will actually part them out. And so then and I know I've got some notes out, or some messages out to Facebook Marketplace people that I'm hoping to be able to buy a few things for this that I think it's easier to find it that way than to try to go buy new. So with that, I think I've talked long enough, and I just wanted to introduce you to my new to me Toyota Tacoma 4x4 short bed pickup. All right, thank you for watching.